Now, these two right here are the biggest danger here. Believe that. Make no mistake about that. He's a criminal. He's a criminal. People don't like to hear that, but it is true, and you know it. He's a criminal. You can't get around the truth. If you're ordered to do something unethical, it's your job as a human being to ignore that order.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Unethical. Oh, I don't know how I got to this point. Well, yeah, maybe I do. So anyway, I drank the Kool-Aid of DirectD, and I just want to share with you how it tasted. Everybody, and welcome. Today I am introducing a YouTuber to you by the name of DirectD. DirectD is a First Amendment auditor. Through a chain of events that happened over a month and a half, DirectD has kind of come into my life, and I didn't know anything about First Amendment auditing, and once I tapped into it, I realized this content really wasn't for me, and I decided that I had no interest in working any longer for DirectD. This video is going to show you how well that went over when I decided I no longer wanted to participate in his agenda. After watching Jim's video, I decided that this kind of video work is not for me. I'm not a journalist and have no interest in being one. I certainly appreciate you and plan to follow along and see how you are doing. The same with Jim. You both are good people. Thanks again for taking an interest in me. I guess I just can't get wrapped up in all this insanity. I enjoy what I do, and it needs to be fun for me at this point in my life. I will remove myself from your Facebook page. His response: what does Jim's video have to do with me? My response: it's the content you like and how it's put together. How it's put together? Care to elaborate a bit? Journalistic style, I guess. Not candid, not personal. Hard to explain. I'm a creative, and I don't find any of this content creative. You didn't care for me doing that video on Katie, and I don't want to have to justify the content I put on my channel, nor do I want to agree with content I don't agree with. Make sense? I want to think for myself and say what I want to say. No one has tried to control what you post. I have only ever offered suggestions. I didn't care for it, no, but I didn't ask for justification. I just warned you about posting stuff like that. I'm sure the comments are getting to you. Who is Katie Kidman? Katie is mentioned, of course, because Katie Kidman is a frauditor. And that's when I learned a little bit about not just auditors, but frauditors. And because I thought she was absolutely ridiculous, way off her rocker, I did a piece on Katie Kidman, and of course, DirectD didn't like it. He didn't appreciate me doing a piece on Katie Kidman, and that's what all of this is about. So I just wanted to know who she was. Katie Kidman, in this world of First Amendment audits, really actually is labeled a frauditor, and he didn't like that term at all. We are not producing entertainment. We are producing information about what's happening in America at the base level. I like entertainment. I like fun entertainment, and I also like, doing my shit show and bringing out the stupid shit that happens in this world, and this really can start classifying in that category. His response to that was, I'm just curious is all. You aren't going to hurt my feelings. Remember that. Just seems strange that you 180 from yesterday to today, and I'm curious about the cause. And my response to that was, I have actually been thinking about it for a while and thought I would give it a try and see how it goes. Yesterday was a decision maker after the interactions at the park. I was uncomfortable and had the awareness that other people were as well. You can clearly see in that video when Jim is calling out on the cops, Austin turns right to him and he says, I got this, bro. And that, it wasn't necessarily uncomfortable. I think it was more of, I didn't want to be associated with that. What don't you agree with? Feeding the homeless, exercising constitutional rights, cussing at cops, being rude? All these things are protected because they are unpopular. I don't agree with religion, but I respect my friends' differing views on the subject because it's their American right. So because it's my right to cuss at cops, to be rude, and because it's all protected, then I should do it, right? I should just go around and just, hey, fuck you, fucking asshole, dick. You know, that's what I should do because I'm protected. I have never told you how to think or what to say, but we have presented an alternative way of thinking that makes most people uncomfortable because they don't like reality. You know, so, but uncomfortable because you were recording. No one likes being recorded either, but it's a constitutional right. No one likes being recorded either. No, I actually love being on camera. My language makes people uncomfortable, but it's my right to say what I want as long as I'm not threatening anybody. I'm not trying to convince you, just help you understand. Yeah, help me understand. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that you want to help me understand because, you know, I just don't understand. Whatever. Because it's clear that you don't. You seem to be putting too much emotion and feelings into this, and it's abstract work, exactly what I don't want to do. And emotion? Hell yeah, I put emotion into my shit. I put a lot of emotion into my stuff because I'm human. I'm not a robot. I'm human. And I happen to give a shit about that stuff. What we are doing is important for my 3 sons' future in this crumbling country. Nobody's feelings matter when it comes to making a difference in the world for them. Things aren't getting better, and the more people who become complacent and ignore the reality of the truth, the worse my kids' future looks. I don't have children. My endeavors to make this world a better place have been to help other people wherever I can. I've given money to the homeless. It took years, but I assisted a young man off the streets and into a job and apartment. Whenever I see an injustice, I step up and do all I can to expose the bullshit and may not have anything to do with the Constitution except for my own. I'm hardly complacent. I am very aware of the world around me. There is not just one way to make this world a better place. I'm not at all against feeding the homeless. In fact, I'm currently working on a GoFundMe for Austin to try to help support him. Being recorded to me is a two-way street. One person has a camera and he is about to film with another person that doesn't wish to be filmed. The cameraman can say, it's my constitutional right. Does that leave the other without their right not to be filmed? What I do understand is that each of us sees things through different perspectives and has each one's own understanding and perspective of reality. Is yours any more real than anyone else's that doesn't share your same philosophy and manner of thought? Okay, so his response to that was LOL. Is that laugh out loud or is that lots of love? Let's go with lots of love. You don't understand. Okay, here we go. You have zero understanding of what your rights are, let alone others. It's called being a Karen, to cry about someone else's behavior because you disagree with it instead of ignoring it and focusing on you. You're literally describing a fucking Karen. Because I'm crying about someone else's behavior. I'm not crying, there's no tears. See, no tears. So you went full Karen on Katie. Good job. Did I get a gold star? I didn't go full, watch the video, people. I didn't go full Karen on Katie. All I did was show, she got her own thing going. I just showed it. And I accomplished nothing. Oh, yeah, kind of like what you're doing. Accomplishing nothing. Being recorded is not a two-way street, and the fact you even remotely think that shows your extreme ignorance and lack of comprehension. Now, this is where we go. Now we're starting to deflate me, right? Now I got to get knocked down, criticized. I'm ignorant, I'm stupid, I don't have the knowledge of all this. So, okay, you literally don't have the brain power to grasp this most basic concept. Try the logic out at a bank or post office with their cameras. If recording someone is a two-way street, then ask the teller to turn off the camera while you're in the fucking bank and see how it goes. See if they respect your opinion. I wouldn't ask them to do that because you know why? Because the cameras are for their security, and because I was a bank teller and one of the bank tellers stole money out of my till and I got blamed for it. Without those cameras, never would have caught the piece of shit. They're right not to be filmed. This statement exposes you. No one has a right to privacy outside of their home or in a bathroom. Why is that so hard to comprehend for you? No, I do comprehend it. But what's funny is that you keep dehumanizing me. And you're good at this because you enjoy doing this. There is no alternative reality. Oh, there isn't? You never read Seth Speaks. Or different perspectives. The law is a law and will remain the law. But the law changes, right? All the time. The law is always changing. The law doesn't care about your feelings or opinions. It doesn't have an emotion or choose sides. Oh, I think a lot of laws came into play over emotion. A GoFundMe is a cute gesture from someone who doesn't understand anything about what she's seen. But we got that handled, don't bother. A GoFundMe is just a cute idea. I wonder how Jennifer would feel about it being a cute idea when her house, a tree landed on her house, and I did a GoFundMe for her and raised a lot of money for her because all friends and family all came together to help her out in a situation that hurt her financially. So I'm so glad that you look at it as a cute idea. Yeah, it requires sacrifices for a future generation's benefit. Giving money to someone a few times, helping one individual, saving a cat. Oh, none of that will mean anything in 20 years. What you're doing is pleasing yourself with what you feel are accomplishments. You're not going to affect anything significant for our futures. That is exactly what complacency is. Without children, you couldn't possibly understand this. Oh, I hate to be so blunt. No, you don't. But you're brainwashed by the society you live in. Breaking that unhealthy way of thinking is uncomfortable, and most people retreat back to their comfort zone because reality is scary. And definitely, you don't live in reality if you think someone has a right to privacy in public. You definitely don't live in reality if you think feeding the public is okay, but you have a problem with someone parking on a public street in front of a residence. You suffer from what's known in psychology as cognitive
dissonances,
the perception of contradictory information and the mental toll of it. Relevant items of information include a person's actions, feelings, ideas, beliefs, values, and things in the environment. You are your own worst enemy in this situation because you refuse to accept and understand the reality of the world. You have maintained a specific and incorrect thought pattern for so long that the idea of any alternative is scary and uncomfortable for you.
especially if you're talking about Kool-Aid.
So it's definitely a good idea if you remain in that bubble. No one will question you or trouble you with truth there. Freedom is scary to most people. I get it. Oh, I bet you do get it. Best of luck to you. So that's there you have it, people. I've been living in a bubble. I'm the bubble woman, bubble girl. I almost want to look online and buy a hat, a big bubble hat, because I love all my different hats. And I wore a lot of different ones for this show. Anyway, so I asked DirectD to get me off of his Facebook page and let him have his words with me, and I heard nothing. I wake up in the morning and I happened to notice a message, and I knew it was my neighbor, my friend, Mark Duncan, sent DirectD a message. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to read this because I had told Mark the day before that I was parting company with DirectD because it just wasn't the kind of content material that I choose to be a part of. And that he ripped into me. That's about all I said to Mark. And so Mark, of course, being a little follower of DirectD, decided to leave him a message. And this is what he says. Crap. I heard Shelley say that she doesn't get it. I'm sorry. I wasn't too sure about her. I have trouble explaining to some people about First Amendment audits, and some people just don't get it. Oh, I tell you, man, it really just threw me a little bit. Like, I thought he was my friend. Boy, stupid of me, right? I mean, he turns me on to DirectD. I didn't ask for any of this. DirectD came to me. He took an interest in me for whatever reason, because obviously I didn't fulfill his desires for his channel. I kindly wanted to go my separate ways. And then Mark, I tell him about that. And oh, that must have been a huge embarrassment to Mark, you know, being a sheep to DirectD. You know, obviously he went to jail for DirectD, hoping that maybe he'd get some help, which he never did. So I decide I'm going to respond, and I say, yeah, she is fucking clueless. She certainly doesn't know how to choose her friends well. So apparently then DirectD gets wind of, he catches on that I've responded to Mark. That was her messaging you through my account. She clearly wants to play games. Once again, I'm gonna say, he authorized me, he put me on his page. Only he can remove me from that page. He said, I suggest you figure it out. I certainly not someone you want to fuck with, lady. And then I'm like, okay, I mean, this is how I feel about it. It's like, really? Really? And then, yes, very really. You pretended to be me when messaging someone after you cowardly retreated from the work. You're playing with fire, woman. Mike here, she made a simple decision to remove herself from the work. Like quitting a job you no longer want to do. Pretty simple. Now remove her from your Facebook account. Then he says, I have a feeling you're not going to honor your non-disclosure agreement based on your own behavior and lack of comprehension of basic law. So I must warn you, violate that, and I'll drag you into civil court and take everything you own. The fact your husband just messaged me is a violation of the disclosure agreement. You literally just violated the contract with that intelligent move. Sit down, Mike. You are only going to make it worse, fool. Y'all stepped into some shit playing games. This shit might fly in your trailer park, but you're going to lose fucking with me. You intentionally woke up this morning with nefarious intentions, and now you will deal with the consequences. Oh, now that sounds like a threat to me. I thought he didn't do threats. So because you haven't been removed, you're deleting my posts? Have you been drinking, doing drugs? You must be if you think you're going to get away with fucking with me. I apologize if I've offended you. When you told me I would have to wear a bulletproof vest, and when I watch your videos of how the work gets done on site, I just don't have the character makeup to do this. Why do you feel so compelled to threaten me? Again, please remove me from your Facebook page so we can go our separate ways and put an end to this dispute. If suing you is considered a threat in your world, then yeah, I'm threatening you with litigation. You openly violated your agreement. I have the evidence. You do realize I can get a data download from Facebook to show who deleted those posts. Then you message through my account after you said you were out. LOL. You must think I've gotten where I am by letting people walk on me. I'm going to make an example out of you for violating my trust and breaching your contract. Good luck explaining yourself. And I wanted to give you a taste because I really didn't think it'd go down this road. I mean, I got caught up into something. I can't deny that. I got caught up in it because I really thought for 1 minute, for being in this line of work, pretty much my whole life, I've always been an entertainer, a producer, a singer. I mean, the whole entertainment world has been my passion, not this. You know, I worked in news for a brief time when I lived in Michigan, and it just wasn't my thing. I just wasn't into it. I have other passions. I have other things that I choose to do on my path, in my journey, in my life, and it isn't this. So if you're asked to do something unethical and you don't want to do it, don't. Make that choice for yourself.